When love begins with blood and ends with a corpse in a suitcase, something more disturbing lies beneath the surface. This is not just a murder story. It's a chilling account of love turned rotten, of boundaries crossed, and a relationship that began with secrecy and ended in horror. Gauri Anil Sambharekar, just 26 years old, had defied her family and society to marry her cousin Rakesh Khedekar. What began as an innocent sibling-like bond between two bright students eventually transformed into a passionate, forbidden love. Gauri used to tie a Rakhi on Rakesh's wrist, but over the years, that sacred thread loosened, and emotions grew into something society couldn't accept. Both families strongly opposed the idea of marriage. To them, this wasn't love. It was a betrayal of tradition. But Gauri and Rakesh ignored every warning. They fought their families, abandoned societal norms, and married each other. What they didn't know was that this act of rebellion would spiral into a deadly trap. The couple moved to Bengaluru, hoping to escape judgmental eyes and start afresh. Rakesh, a 36-year-old software engineer, had secured a work-from-home promotion as a project manager. Gauri, a mass media graduate, was hopeful of restarting her career. She left her job in Maharashtra, trusting Rakesh's promise to help her find new opportunities in the bustling city. But reality was different. The flat in Dodakamannahalli, South East Bengaluru, became a pressure cooker of suppressed anger and isolation. Gauri, unable to find a job, spent her days in silence. Her resume went unanswered. Meanwhile, Rakesh grew more withdrawn. What had once been a defiant union was now a daily war of words and silence. Fights became routine. Gauri clashed with Rakesh's family on calls. She had once slapped his mother during a visit. That memory festered in Rakesh's mind like poison. Gauri often accused him of not trying hard enough to help her career. She insulted his family, belittled his efforts, and mocked his masculinity. Rakesh's quiet demeanor masked a growing storm. The man who had once shunned female attention now plotted murder in a quiet apartment with beige walls and Wi-Fi. He had no friends in Bengaluru, no one to confide in. And so, his thoughts became darker. His love turned into a lethal obsession. Initially, Rakesh tried to poison her, but with no access to dangerous chemicals and with Gauri handling the kitchen, he had no way in. His attempts to act normal were failing. The mask was slipping. Then, one evening, a fight escalated beyond words. On March 26th, 2025, after a normal day filled with drinks and dinner, Gauri taunted Rakesh again. A slap followed. She hurled a kitchen knife in his direction, which merely grazed his wrist. But that was enough. The suppressed rage erupted. In a split second, Rakesh picked up the same knife and plunged it into her stomach. Gauri collapsed, bleeding, shocked, dying. Rakesh had done it. The crime he'd imagined for weeks was now a chilling reality. Blood pooled on the kitchen floor as silence engulfed the flat. But the horror was far from over. Because Rakesh hadn't just killed his wife, he had to hide what he'd done. And that's where the nightmare truly began. The blood had barely dried when Rakesh began cleaning. Every drop, every fingerprint, every trace of violence. He mopped the floor with methodical precision, like a man possessed or liberated. But hiding a body was a different challenge altogether. Gauri's lifeless form lay sprawled in the kitchen. Rakesh fetched a brand new suitcase, a large one, the kind used for long trips. He stuffed Gauri's body inside, folding limbs like clothes. But something was off. She was still warm, still slightly breathing. The autopsy would later reveal the truth. Gauri died not from the knife, but from suffocation inside the zipped suitcase. At that moment, Rakesh didn't care. He locked the suitcase and dragged it to the bathroom. That would be her tomb for now. He planned to rent a car, drive deep into the night, and dump the body somewhere remote. But fate intervened. As he tugged on the suitcase, its plastic handle snapped. The body was too heavy. Panic surged. It was the middle of the night, and the city wasn't asleep. He couldn't risk dragging the bag through the street. He left the suitcase in the bathroom, locked the house from outside, and fled. Cowardice masked as calm. He traveled over 700 kilometers to Satara, Maharashtra. There, his guilt returned. Perhaps it was love, perhaps fear. But Rakesh called his landlord and confessed, told him everything, asked him to inform the police. Then he called his father. "I've killed Gauri," he said. "Inform her parents I'm going to surrender, or maybe I'll kill myself first." His father begged him not to do anything foolish. But the line went dead. Hours later, local police found Rakesh unconscious in his parked Honda City near Shirwal. He had consumed fennel. A suicide attempt. He wanted to die, or wanted people to believe he did. Doctors saved him. But he refused to talk, claimed he wanted to be with his wife. In his mind, Gauri was still waiting, suffocating in a suitcase. Meanwhile, Bengaluru police broke into the locked flat. The house looked spotless, unnaturally so. They searched room to room until they found the suitcase, in the bathroom. Silent, clean. But when they opened it, a woman's body. Cold, curled, dead. She was identified as Gauri Anil Sambharekar. Her eyes were half open, her hands folded awkwardly, her body twisted to fit. The autopsy confirmed everyone's worst fear. She had been alive when packed inside. Deputy Commissioner Sarah Fatima and Commissioner B. Dayanand took over. The flat became a crime scene. Journalists arrived. The city of Bengaluru recoiled in horror. A software engineer had killed his wife, stuffed her in a suitcase, and tried to disappear. But why? Was it rage, betrayal, or was it something darker? Police took Rakesh into custody and began the investigation. The truth would soon shake the entire country. As Rakesh sat under heavy police security, the nation buzzed with outrage. This was no ordinary domestic dispute. This was a psychological implosion, a love story gone grotesque. And the details only got more disturbing. Rakesh wasn't mentally ill, doctors said. He was manipulative, cold. He faked instability to earn sympathy. But in truth, every step he took was deliberate, premeditated, chillingly organized. For 4 years, Rakesh and Gauri lived in a secret relationship. Once bound by sacred familial ties, they turned their backs on tradition and chose love. But love, once forbidden, had turned feral. It had cost Gauri her life and Rakesh his soul. The post-mortem showed 2 deep knife wounds on her neck and 1 on her stomach. But the final cause of death? Asphyxiation. She had struggled for air, beaten against the suitcase walls, and died in agony, alone, unheard. Neighbors had no idea. They said the couple seemed quiet, polite. No one heard a scream, no one saw blood. It was as if the murder took place in a vacuum. Just 2 people in a locked apartment, and one never walked out. During interrogation, Rakesh gave a shocking statement. He had once seen Gauri as a sister, but his emotions changed, and once they became intimate, he felt trapped. Social guilt, family shame, and then her constant confrontations. He believed she had ruined his life, but Rakesh never told anyone. He never sought help. He never walked away. Instead, he waited, planned, and finally he killed. Gauri had left everything for him, her job, her family, her dignity, and she paid the ultimate price. Her death wasn't just a murder. It was a betrayal of trust, of sacred bonds, and of every promise made in love. The police presented the entire case before the court. Rakesh was charged with murder, evidence tampering, and attempted suicide. His trial is ongoing, but the public verdict is clear. He is guilty in the eyes of a society that once opposed their marriage. The story of Rakesh and Gauri raises questions that go beyond this case. Does education guarantee emotional intelligence? Can love built on betrayal ever last? And how far can one go to escape guilt and shame? Today, Gauri's ashes lie in Maharashtra, far from the city where she died. Rakesh sits behind bars, but the real tragedy is that a relationship once called love was never really love at all. And now, the question remains: how many more Gauris must die before we start recognizing the red flags hiding behind the veil of love? What do you think? Is love enough to survive everything, even when it starts from a forbidden place? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe, stay alert, and never ignore the silence behind the smiles.